What's up, everybody? This is Jonathan from TajiriNet, where we are all about career exploration, wealth education, and lifestyle empowerment. This is the Career Couch, and today I've got a very special guest. I've got India.
Yes.
Nice to meet you, India. How's it going today?
It's going pretty good. Pretty good.
Cool,
yeah.
cool. All right. So India is actually in software engineering. So that's pretty cool because I'm a big fan of people that are involved in STEM. So for those of y'all that don't know what STEM is, that's science, technology, engineering, mathematics, any career that's related to those four things, I tend to find pretty interesting. So let's just dive right into it. So were you always interested in getting into science or computer science, or were you kind of interested in some other things first and then kind of developed an interest? Like, how does that story go?
Yeah, so I wasn't always interested in computer science, but I did grow up diving into science and technology. See, growing up, I was within the Patriots Academy, which is a part of the National Society of Black Engineers. And my parents always had me in these engineering academies, and we did mechanical engineering, just building robots, building different systems and everything. So eventually I ended up becoming into an engineering program in high school, and that's called Project Lead the Way. And through that, I ended up taking a class, and it was called Digital Electronics. And within digital electronics, I actually found a love for electrical engineering. So I was saying that, I want to go to college to do electrical, but then one of my professors, or one of my teachers, they actually told me that I will find an interest within computer science. So I started just doing my digging, and I decided that, that's the path that I want to take, because I've always loved just building things and figuring out how things were built. And within computer science, I would actually be the person who was testing, the person who's actually integrating, into these systems and creating these systems. So yeah, I love it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. So, and one thing that I noticed that you said is you kind of got an interest in it because you got exposure to it from a young age. You mentioned the Patriots program.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the other one that you did in high school.
Yeah.
And so do you think that had you not gone through those experiences when you were, in middle school and high school, gaining that exposure, do you think you would have still found yourself going down that same career path?
So I think that I definitely would have found myself going down an engineering career path, but probably not computer science specifically. I think that there's definitely a lack in exposure within, the engineering fields, within like the African American community, and not a lot of schools, not a lot of them actually, I guess, expose their students towards, different career paths, that's within science and technology. For my school specifically, we didn't have actual programming classes or anything. And it was just the matter of the fact of really doing your own research. And, but if you really have the drive to learn something within the technology field, you'll always have that desire to go within that career path. So.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, and I actually skipped over a pretty important question.
Yeah.
What exactly is computer science and software engineering? Because what a lot of people might presume it means is, oh, well, it's science just about computers.
Yeah.
Or, if I can build a computer, that makes me a computer scientist.
Yeah.
So how would you define it in a way that would make it simple for, someone who's totally not part of that world to understand?
Yeah.
Like, what is it?
So first off, computer science is actually very broad, and software engineering is just a little piece of computer science, but there's so many different aspects of it. You have user interface design, which you're just like designing what the user sees, and that's it. And then also you have the back end programming, which is just like the server, what the server receives. So what the user sees, that's totally different than the actual hard code within it. And I think that, what most people do think, they think that, it's just coding and that's it, but there's just so much more. You have augmented reality where, you're able to create these components and you're able to see it in real time. There's just so much that there is, and computer science, I would say, it's actually building systems, it's building programs, it's building mobile apps, websites. It's more than, just the coding part of it. But software engineering, that mostly is coding. You have front-end development, which is like doing HTML, CSS, JavaScript. You don't actually get into the actual hard coding, which is, that would be the back-end development. Or you could be a full stack developer, which is when you do the front-end development as well as the back-end. So it's just, it's very broad, but they have these key components that in the end, it all fits together.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. That's cool. I had, when I was in college, when I went to Baylor, I actually took a computer science class.
Yeah.
And they taught us C++, which is
Nice.
one of the many programming languages. I actually learned another one back in high school called BASIC, which is like for beginners. But from those experiences, what I've learned is, you really have to be able to think and, like what you said, be able to come up with systems and think logically.
Yeah.
What would you say is one of your favorite parts of being a computer scientist?
My favorite part, it will probably be the challenge. Like, I love to be challenged. I don't like to, just have everything come to me easy. And I feel like with computer science, you definitely get that challenge, and you definitely learn like patience. And I think that's something that's helped me as well with computer science is, like you may code this program, it works, and then one day, it just breaks.
Yep.
And it's like you have to be patient because, like, oh man, it's tough, but at the same time, like, you find joy in it because you built this entire system, and just to say you did it, like, that should give you joy right there.
Exactly.
But yeah, I would say definitely it teaches me patience, which I love. That it teaches me patience, but then also the challenge because you never want to be stagnant. You always want to continue learning, and especially with computer science and technology in general, it's always evolving.
Right,
and
something new.
Yeah, it's always evolving, and I believe that you evolve with it. So yeah, that's definitely what I love.
Right, and I definitely feel you on the patience part. Like, programming for hours, and then you hit the compile button and you're ready to run the program, and then there's all these error codes, and you're like,
Gives you a headache.
It does, but then that feeling of satisfaction once everything works out is really worth it. And another thing that you hit on, which I think is cool, is the creative aspect of it.
Yeah.
Because, I believe in that, we're all made in God's image. We're gonna experience some joy when we're engaging in that creative process.
Yeah.
And for some people it might be painting, for other people it might be drawing, or coming up with music, and then for others it's coming up with those user designs and those front end codes and those back end codes. So I think it's pretty cool that you can still find creativity in computer science.
Yeah, so I look at computer science, especially software engineering, or what I do. I look at it as art, like you said. Like, you have the painters, you have the drawers, you have, the architectural engineers and everything. And I think computer science itself, it's art. You're designing, different programs, projects. I know, like, for me in my job, I'm a software engineer at Lockheed, and we design these systems that in the end, help other people, and, it helps the country, helps different countries. And I just think that it's definitely art. Like, there's different specific kinds of art, and, everybody has their own,
right.
Whatever position you have, I feel like it's all in the end, it's all art. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. So let's briefly talk about school, right? So I'm a teacher, and I always love to talk to people and see how their education has helped to prepare them for their career, right? So, you know, not every school will have, like what you were saying, not every school will have a computer science program or a code academy or something like that. What would be some ways you could say, you know, if there was someone in high school or someone who just graduated high school, they're getting into that college phase, what are some ways they can start exploring computer science and software engineering, you know, to just get their feet wet?
Yeah, so some ways I would say that you could explore computer science is, you know, find different programs. There's so many programs out here that that teach the young, and, you know, those coming out of high school, those who are in middle school, they teach them different concepts of programming computer science. Also, find a mentor. There's people who are willing to mentor you. There's definitely people who are looking to, you know, teach the young, you know, as they grow old. And because we were all in their spots before, like we were all in your spots before. So definitely, I feel like if I had a mentor when I was younger, like, I don't know, I would have loved to have a mentor when I was younger, because, you know, they could teach us things that we don't know. And yeah, there's Code Academy, there's Coursera, you know, even YouTube, you know, they have a lot of programmers on there that's willing to teach you, you know. I'll say, yeah, definitely find different programs. You have to be willing to search. Like, not everything is going to come to you. And especially with software engineering and computer science, anything in STEM, like, you have to be willing to go out there and take it, you know. You can't wait until stuff comes to you. So yeah, definitely just make sure you have that drive, you know, and that persistence.
So taking that initiative to find that information.
Yeah, definitely.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So here's another question for you. When you were on your path to graduating from your computer science or software engineering course in college, what exactly were you expecting in terms of, you know, some pay? Yeah.
So I think, first off, you definitely need to know your worth, especially with going through computer science in college. You put hard work in. I think that you have to know how much, you know, your work is worth. And when you look for positions, you're looking to see, you know, are they willing to pay me what my worth is? So I was making sure that, you know, whatever job I was looking at, I felt like, you know, I was getting, you know, the most money out of it. And I just did my research, I searched, and some positions, you know, they'll try to lowball you because you're coming out of college. So they think that you don't know certain concepts. And what you have to do is, you know, basically put your foot down and tell them that, you know, I've worked 4 years for this degree, and, you know, you have to pay me what I'm worth, or I'm going to go somewhere else, because everywhere they're looking for computer science majors. Like, it's just, you know, on the market for computer science. So you definitely have to, you know, find your worth, because there's going to be a company that comes through who's actually willing to pay that. Yeah. Right.
So know your worth and don't allow yourself to be taken advantage of.
Yeah,
because,
definitely.
You know, a lot of times, unfortunately, when people are, you know, just coming out of college, it's difficult for them to find a job that's actually going to pay an amount that's going to pay your bills, you know, so pay your rent, pay your car note and all that. So what would you say, you don't have to be too detailed, you know, but in general, what would you say is like a ballpark amount for what someone who just graduated, you know, got their bachelor in computer science, what is a range of salary that they can hope to expect? Yeah, so it really depends on what field you're going to. If you're just going into IT, I would say the median range is around like 50,000. If you're going in software engineering, you know, it's all based off of where you live as well, but the median range could be around 65 or 70,000. For like front-end developers, I think that it may be about 65 as well. Back end, it could be 75. Even like UI developers or UI designers,
that could be around 70 as well. So it really depends on, I guess, what specific field you're going into that, you know, takes the degree of computer science. And yeah, like it just ranges, you know, from top to bottom.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it has also changed like in a hierarchical way, like, you know, say if you've been working at a job for 5 or 10 years, then you can kind of climb up that ladder.
Yeah, you could definitely climb up the ladder. Entry-level positions are normally around 2 years until you'll actually see a promotion. So once you see that promotion, you may get, you know, maybe a 10 grand, you know, extra money coming through.
Nice.
Or 10 or 20. And it really depends, but I think senior level management, they could see about 6 figures, and probably like the mid hundreds range that they could, you know, actually find what they're getting paid for. And yeah, it really depends. Program managers, it could be about 6 figures as well. So definitely as you go up the ladder, you'll see an increase in your pay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Because, you know, a lot of people are looking for those kind of jobs where you can get paid a lot of money. Now, here's a mistake, and we spoke about this off camera earlier, but a mistake that people often make is they see computer science as another one of those STEM careers where it's like, oh, wow, look, I can get paid a lot of money if I become a computer engineer, if I learn how to program. How would you address someone who's under that mindset?
Yeah, see, if your heart's not in it, don't even try. Make sure that you love what you do, because, you know, you can make this amount of money, but then like you just hate it, you know? And I don't think that that's the way that we were meant to live. We were meant to live, you know, doing something that we love. So I'd rather be comfortable, you know, doing something that I love than, you know, make a whole bunch of money and like hate going into work every single day.
Right.
So just make sure that, you know, you actually love what you do. You know, if you really don't like, you know, technology, computer science, STEM at all, then, you know, I would say don't really try to get a full-time position in that. You know, you could always do something on the side if you want to learn more, but make sure that that is something that you want to do.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. That's a good answer. Do you have any experiences from your education? That could be, you know, from middle school, high school, even college. Do you have any particular thing that stood out to you in terms of like, you know, this one experience really shaped me as a software engineering person?
Yeah. In college, the dean, we had a dean in college, and I wasn't the best programmer at first, but I felt like, you know, he specifically saw something in me, and he saw like my drive to learn. And I think that's the thing too, is that, you know, you don't have to be 100% good, you know, at coding or anything that you do.
Right.
It's really, people look at that drive that you have more than anything. So I remember him, I was struggling in one course, and I remember him just talking to me and, you know, doing tutoring sessions with me. And I think that showed me that even in this field, like, I'm never going to be alone. Even in my work and stuff, I noticed that that my coworkers are always willing to lend a hand, that, you know, you don't have to know everything, but as long as you reach out to people, and it's just going to make it worth it. Like, it's going to make it worth it, so.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Okay. That's some great information. So as you guys can see, you know, you don't have to be an expert when you're learning this craft. You're gonna be, you know, getting some mistakes in, but you learn from your mistakes. And what's even more helpful is when you have that community of people around you that can, you know, pour into you, not just, you know, the knowledge of the craft, but they can also encourage you and give you wisdom on how to navigate that. So that's really great information.
Yeah.
And so with that, guys, we're gonna go ahead and cut things off. So I thank y'all for watching this episode of TajiriNet. If you have any questions for me or any questions for our guest, India, please feel free to type those in the comment section below the video. Also, like the video. If you know anyone who's interested in computer science or might have some experience that they could share with others, go ahead and share this video with them. And feel free to get in contact with us. The email is below as well. And with that, that is TajiriNet. We'll see you guys on the next episode.